Okay, g'day viewers, welcome to another Rumble Ride Along. Today we're going to be talking about Harley versus Indian. Which is the better bike? Harley or Indian? Or better brand? It's an absolute perler of a day. We've had such cold, wet, miserable weather. It's nice to get some blue skies, sunshine and light winds. Makes for a welcome change, let me assure you. A few boats and things out today, out in the water, which is great to see. Sure sign that summer might finally be on its way. Put those new speed bumps in, they're pretty aggressive, those little ones. So first off, let's talk about what my Indian experience has been like so far. I've now got about 2,800, 900 kilometres on the bike. And I think the easiest way to describe my ownership of Indian thus far is that it's so far been no different to owning any of the Japanese bikes I've owned, in that all you do is just ride and enjoy and service when it needs a service. I've had zero issues. There's nothing that I've had to take the bike back to the dealer for to get looked at or checked or what have you. I've never had any engine warning lights or anything like that. It's just been, it literally has just been the same as a Japanese bike to own for me so far. But in the case of this Indian, say, over a Honda, this is a lot more fun to ride and a lot more engaging, a lot more exciting, and a completely different experience in that respect. Where the Hondas are, super reliable and functional, and that they can also be a little bit bland and a little bit boring in comparison to something like this. This bike really, it just has a lot of feedback and it's just so pleasurable to ride and just so fun to ride. And since I've put these Mini Ape handlebars on, I've done a few rides now with these and it's even more fun, to be honest. I really like these bars, and I won't be going back to the drag bars or any other bar at this stage. I'm super happy with these. It just gives a really nice feel. They're comfortable. They feel cool. I still have all the control I need. And I have noticed zero. What am I saying? I want to say I ride this bike just as hard as I did with the more sporty drag bars. It hasn't compromised my spirited riding in any way, shape, or form. It handles equally as well, and I find it equally as easy to ride quick with these bars as I did the drag handlebars. So for me, my Indian experience has been great. I'm loving it, to be honest. And which brings me back to Indian versus Harley Davidson. If there's guys out there who swear black and blue that Harley make a superior bike, well, I have to say it'd have to be a damn awesome motorcycle to be better than this. That's all I'm going to say, because this is fantastic. Now I can imagine Harley making an equally as good bike, no problems at all. It's hard for me to imagine Harley making a better bike than this. I'm not saying they don't, but it's hard for me to imagine. It'd have to be a damn awesome bike to be better than this for me. So have I become an Indian fanboy? I'm a big fan of this bike. I love this bike. I really like the Scouts, but I'm sure there's bikes in the Indian range I wouldn't buy. Of course, there's bikes in the Harley range I wouldn't buy. Does that mean that I would never buy a Harley? Not at all. There's bikes in the Harley range I love. I'd love to own. I really like the Street Bob. I really like the Sportster S. I really like the Sport Glide. I really like the Sport Glide. I think the Sport Glide, when I was looking at sitting on Harleys and then just looking at them, the Sport Glide felt like it would be the Harley that would be instantly most comfortable and most accessible to me. Would I buy a Sport Glide? I'd probably, I don't know if I'd go Street Bob over to Sport Glide and do some mods on it, I think is what I would do. But yeah, Sport Glide would be a great bike. What about the new CVO Road Glide and Street Glide? Yeah, I think they're great bikes. They look great. Looks wise, I prefer the Street Glide to the Road Glide, and I think I would go the Street Glide, although the handlebars on the new CVO Road Glide I like better than the Street Glide. I reckon the Street Glide handlebars will be too low for me now that I've had experience with higher bars. Yeah, the Road Glide would definitely be more comfortable. And my penultimate Harley would be the Tri-Glide Ultra. If I came into a bit of money, that would be the first Harley I would buy, because I would love to buy a Tri-Glide Ultra and go touring with it with the wife. I think it'd be a fantastic touring bike. It'd be a lot of fun, and I can just see myself riding along and not have to worry about pulling up to a set of lights and the wife is wriggling around on the back or doing whatever, or sightseeing, looking around, and just pull up, don't have to put my feet down, just relax, enjoy the ride, and I think it'd be fantastic. So that is a bit of a pipe dream, to own a Harley Tri-Glide Ultra, and one day I may. At this stage, I can never see myself selling this bike. I think this will be my bike now until I can no longer ride, and I'm going to do some mods on it. I'm going to put a new seat on it. Now that I've got the handlebars in this position, a different seat would make it more comfortable, so I'm going to do that, and I'll probably long term will put the forward controls on it. So that's a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm going to put a sissy bar on it, and I'm going to turn this into the perfect bike for me. It's a bike that I can see with this engine, and this engine's pretty bulletproof from what I've been hearing. It's going to last me years and years and years. All I have to do is just replace bits as I need replacing. Suspension wise, I'm pretty happy with the way it rides. I'm very happy with the way it rides and handles. And I was thinking about maybe, now I'm sitting more upright, whether I'd need to go Fox shocks to give me a bit more, or bit of higher quality suspension on the rear. But because I was bottoming out here and there on a ride recently, but it turns out that I had my preload too low. So I just put another 2 millimeters of preload back into the rear shocks, and that's improved things 100%. And I think you've got to do this too. There's a little tip: constantly be checking and re-evaluating your suspension settings and where they're set, because things change. The suspension beds in, wears in, settles down a bit, and you do find that you need to put just a little bit more preload into it once it all gets settled in and worn in. And you may lose weight, you may put on weight, You know, there are a lot of variables that you really have to be constantly monitoring and compensating for in regards to your suspension. So I had it pretty good, and then I started to bottom out, so things have softened up or settled in. So I've put another couple of mils of preload in, just a bit more tension on the spring, and I may even put one more mil in, or 2 more mils in, just see how that goes, and then I can always back it off a bit. But yeah, so that's helped a lot, to the point where I don't think I need new suspension. I'm quite happy with the suspension, stock suspension as it is. So that's all good. Got a bit sidetracked there. What were we? So yeah, my Indian experience is going along fantastically. Now, does that mean you should buy this bike? No, not at all. You and I are two completely different people, and what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. And that's where you've got to be careful, you know, watching people on the internet and YouTube channels and influencers, as they're called. And I understand why they're called influencers, because I know people watching my channel have been influenced to buy an Indian. They've told me themselves. And there's not just one, there's been a few people who bought Indians based on watching me ride Indians on my channel. So yeah, I get it. We are influencers. We do influence people's decisions. But I want to tell you that you should never listen to an influencer, because all they can relay is their own personal experience and what something is like for them. They can't predict or can't know what that product or that bike or that seat or whatever is going to be like for you, because you're a completely different person. And when people ask me my advice on things, you know, should I get this bike, or what's the best bike for me, or what's the best bike for a beginner, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I have no idea. I don't know what you're like, physically, what condition you're in, what age you are, what size you are, what proportions you are, how much you weigh, what riding experience you have, what your tastes are. I don't know what's going to really give you a buzz when you get on a bike. So for me to tell you should get bike A or bike B or brand X or Y or whatever would be completely wrong. That would be completely wrong for me to advise you on anything, because that's just when I see people do that, I get really annoyed, actually. It's a bit of a pet peeve. Someone a test rider gets off a bike and said, this will be fantastic, perfect for you, because I can touch my feet on the ground, I can do it. Yeah, but that's you, that's not doesn't apply to everybody. Look at this beautiful scenery out here. The experience you just had riding that bike only applies to you and you only. So don't be saying to people that this would be a good product for anybody else other than you, because that's the only thing you're qualified to judge, and that is what's right for you personally. So, you know, I can say this bike's fantastic for me and I'm loving it and what have you, but there's no guarantee you're going to have the same experience. Not by a long shot. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Still winds and all the windmills are stopped, but that's probably more because of the solar panels collecting energy. These windmills here are controlled from Spain, and if the Victorian government or whatever wants energy, they have to buy it through Acciona, I think the company is, in Spain. And if they don't want to pay the money, they don't turn them on, they just leave them off. So while we're generating heaps of solar power from solar panels, which has been a really big uptake in Australia of solar panels, they don't need to have these wind turbines running. Now, if it's an overcast day, you'll see them going, but like I can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's hundreds all around me, and from where I can say not one is turning, because blue skies, sunshine. We're getting all the energy we need from solar at this point. Anyway, he gets sidetracked again. Yeah, so let's get back on topic. Indian versus Harley Davidson. Which is better? Well, to me, just looking at that canola, to me there's no difference. Honestly, I don't care if some fanboy, someone says no, you're wrong. Harley is far superior to Indian for X, Y, Z reason. I don't care. To me personally, I would buy an Indian after owning one, or a Harley. They're interchangeable equally to me. There's no difference. To me, there's no difference. If you're looking for a cruiser with a really nice engine, lots of torque, lots of character, lots of fun to ride, then Indian or Harley, take your pick. And really it will come down to what bike gives you a bit of a buzz. Now for me, it's Indian. In this case, with this particular style of bike, yeah, I love this bike. This is my bike. It always has been from day one, and since the day I ordered it. And yeah, this is for me the pinnacle of big V twin cruising. Now, is there a bike in Harley's lineup that it could equal that for me? Yeah, probably. Lowrider S, Street Bob, yeah, no problems at all. Probably. And then it all comes down to styling, looks, appearance, and in that respect, then I prefer Indian, which is why I've gone for the Chief. But for riding experience and feedback, and you know, as a rewarding experience, yeah, I'd say equal. Cost of ownership, well, I would expect that with Harleys you'd have a pretty good run, as I'm expecting to have with this bike. The only thing is cost of entry is higher on the Harley. You know, you're going to pay a lot more for a similar sort of bike. Servicing, I'd expect there'll be much for muchness. I might be wrong, but I'm not expecting, you know, that servicing a Chief's going to be a lot cheaper than servicing a Harley, or vice versa. I'm expecting it's going to be much for muchness. Resale value, I'm not expecting to be a big difference. You know, you pay more for a Harley when you buy it new. You should get more for it when it's time to sell it. So yeah, I'm not expecting anything there. Build quality, there's nothing wrong with the way this bike's built. In fact, I'm impressed with the way this bike's built, and to the point where it's like I've seen frames on Harleys in the past where, I don't know, they just look like they're little bits and pieces of metal sort of welded together from the parts bin on some of the bikes I've seen, where I really like the way this frame is designed. It's like it was designed from the get-go to be a frame for this motorcycle. It's not been cobbled together from different bits and pieces. And so yeah, I really like that about this particular bike. But like I said, I'd just as happily own a Harley if they had a bike that spoke to me, and they do. They have a few. Would I own a Lowrider ST over this bike? No. Would I own a Lowrider S over this bike? No. Would I own a Street Bob over this bike? No. This is my bike. I love this bike. But having said that, that doesn't mean this is the better bike for you. So keep that in mind. And if you are test riding an Indian because you've seen this bike on my channel and you like it, whatever, also test ride a Harley. You know, do your own comparison and buy the one that speaks to you. That's what you should always be doing. So to sum it all up, all this chatting and rambling and riding, Harley, Indian, for me, It's all the same. It may be different for you, and that's totally fine. You know, buy what floats your boat. And I'm going to be really careful here because this is where these sheep jumped out of me on my NC750X as I was cruising along here at 100 k's an hour and had to slam the brakes on. It looks like we don't have any issues today, which is good. So yeah, bottom line, buy what works for you. And don't let anyone talk you out of Harley or Indian based on their own personal prejudices, based on their own personal preferences, or, you know, fanboyism or whatever. Go out, check them all out, and even if it's a Kawasaki Vulcan, Vaquero or Voyager, whatever, check them all out. You know, you don't know, it might be the right bike for you. It might be the bike that speaks to you. I'm just looking along here because there's something I wanted to show you guys, and it's just a reminder of, you know, when you're riding along, you've got to look out for things and be ever vigilant. And I saw this the other day when I was riding around here. I'll see if I can see it again. Now, when I was talking about the Tri-Glide Ultra and how, you know, if I ever came into money I would buy one of those, I wouldn't sell this, I'd keep this, and the only way I would do it is if I could have the Tri-Glide Ultra as well as this. If it meant selling this, I wouldn't do it, no way. There's a hare. It's unusual to be out in the middle of the day. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Don't know if you can see over there, but in that paddock is a bunch of deer. They're a deep red coloured deer, and they're obviously farming them, as well as goats. And they were in this paddock here the other day when I came past, and they're pretty big. And there's something else we've got to look out for now. They were introduced in the 1800s, I think, for when the early settlers came across into Australia as hunting game. And then a few got out, and then we sort of have slowly been getting bigger and bigger wild colonies, groups of deer. And now there's something else we've got to watch out for as well, apart from the kangaroos and wombats and what have you. We've also got to watch out for deer now, which is the challenge, and they're moving more, spreading out, and they're moving over this way. They were sort of over, you know, hundreds of kilometres to the east, but as they sort of spread out, they spread out. And that's the first time I've seen anyone sort of farming them in this area, and I just hope we don't get any escapees from that lot. So there's lots to talk about there today in our little Rumble ride along. Now I might put this on YouTube at some point, but these are sort of Rumble exclusives. Got this guy belting down here. And so these videos will appear on Rumble first. So if you're not subscribed over there, head over there and have a look. I've got a link in the description of this video if YouTube allows it, if it doesn't take it out. As I seem to be a bit anti-competitive when it comes to other platforms. Just on another topic, I've been sort of experimenting with wind and things like that with this new setup. Now I do at time to time get a bit of turbulence on the side of my helmet. It's not big turbulence, but just a finer turbulence, if you like. And I reckon it might be coming from these mirrors, that they're putting off some dirty air by the time it gets to my helmet. So what I might do is I might take this mirror off and it's only when I'm riding into a headwind I really feel it. Take this mirror off and then go for a ride and just see if the air's cleaner, you know, without having that mirror there, because it's a bit fluttery here too coming off the screen. It could be coming off the screen as well, but I think I want to try it. Just take that mirror off, and then if it turns out that is giving a lot of turbulence, then I might, you know, do a mirror that comes underneath somehow, and or even a little mirror off here might be the go. Anything just to give me cleaner air on my helmet would be good. So you're welcome to stay with me for the ride back. It's a big bump. Back in this direction, but my suspension worked pretty good there actually, my new settings. I would have definitely bottomed out there before, so that's great. Going to, I think I will put a couple more mil in, and I reckon that'll be right then. A couple more millimeters of preload onto the rear shocks. They're so comfortable and relaxing on my bike now with my new handlebars. Just my butt. Got to fix that seat. Just need more lumbar support. And perhaps a backrest. I don't know, maybe just the lumbar support might be all I need. Like a Saddleman. Although I am favouring the Mustang Squareback, because it looks like it might have a bit more comfort in the seat, but still that squarer style and a nice step up for lumbar support. Alright, I'm going to sign out here. Just enjoy my ride back home. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my Rumble channel, which is linked down below. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I've got giveaways each month on there, and it's only $2 US per month to support me on Patreon. And I've also got merch. If you look down below this video, you should see my merch. You might have to scroll down a little bit, but you should find it. Check out some of that gear as well. You might find something you like. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this day and the rest of this ride. And you guys have an awesome day too. Catch you later.